How's it going, guys? Legal here. Today I'm going to be bringing you a guide on how to set up your workers and your nodes for Altinova in Black Desert Online. Basically, the way that you do this is you're going to be investing in a lot of different buildings. One of the main ones being the Wagon Workshop. As you can see here, it's a 5 to 8 in Altinova. It's called the Wagon Workshop. And what you want to aim for here is the level 2 version of the Altinova Wagon Workshop. Basically what this is going to give you is it's going to give you the merchant wagon. Now you can go for the noble wagon. I wouldn't recommend it, as I have way better experience just making profit off of the merchant wagon. The reason for that is that everything you need for that is super cheap. The only thing I really buy in the marketplace is the soft height. Other than that, it's super simple. Now the thing is that in order for you to buy a lot of these buildings, you would probably have to look here at the control menu, and where it says sale on mine, you probably have to look at something called check purchase conditions, and you just buy whatever it recommends you. So basically what it will do then is that it will buy everything that's needed for you to start your wagon shop, and your storage is going to look something a little like this here, but once you've set everything up with the nodes, with the workers, with everything. I have all of my workers set up to cut me timber, to mine ores for me, sink ores, copper ores. They even cut platinum ores. They cut everything. There's a lot of things on this. If you set your nodes up and your workers up like I have, then you're gonna make a lot of side profit, and not only profit on the wagon itself and the costume mill. The costume mill is hidden in number 6 to 5. It's just called the costume mill. There's no extra level or anything. What you want to be making there is the trainer's clothes, silver embroidered trainer's clothes. The flax fabric, the trays of battle, and the blackstone powder that is required to make that costume is super cheap. Basically what I do is I buy the trays of battle on the marketplace. They cost around 4,000 each. It's really nothing. They are so ridiculously cheap. You can also go to Calpheon and invest in the Bernianto farm, and there you will also get the trays of battle that you would need to build the costumes. Now, as I said, you can buy them off the marketplace. It's really not a huge loss for you, but it's entirely up to you. Whatever you choose, it's a-okay. Now, basically, the powder of flame and all the other powders that you're going to be getting, like powder of crevice, all that stuff is, or trays of crevice, I think they're called. Sorry, it's just extra things that you can just sell. I mean, all the profit that you see here in my storage, the current marketplace asset value, is from like 2 or 3 days of grinding, so to speak, my workers. I haven't really done anything. It's just been AFK'ing. The reason that I might have a bit more is because that I invested in goblins rather than humans and giants. The reason for that is I'm at my computer a lot, so therefore I can afford to feed my goblins. And since I hired goblins, basically the reason behind that is that they work a lot faster than humans and giants do, but they require a lot more attention in terms of beer. Now, moving out of Altinova, what you'll see here is the Altinova entrance. That is the first node that you're going to connect out of Altinova. Going south from that, you go down to the abandoned iron mine. There's going to be 2 mines there, and you're going to be investing in both of them, obviously. They'll give you powder of darkness and rough black crystals. We'll get back to that later on. And the second one will give you platinum ores and zinc ores. Zinc ores is super important for you. Powder of time, again, it's just another thing for you to make a profit on. It's so super simple. It's amazing. Now, going north of the Altinova entrance, you will have something called the Awakening Bill. There's nothing there, no workers there. It's just a connecting node, basically. From there on, you want to move on to the Oma Lava Cave. Up there you have zinc ores, powder of time, platinum ores, and on the other one you have coal, powder of crevice, and rough rubies. Again, everything is just profit here. It's fantastic. Then you connect that one to Medea Shore to get the copper ore. The copper ore is super important for you, and the reason for that is because they play a huge part in you actually getting the wagons completed. And once you got the copper ores, you're all settled. Now you want to connect it to Kusha, and from Kusha you want to connect it onto the Stonetail Wasteland. The reason you want to do that is because of the acacia timber that you'll be getting. The acacia timber is not an easy resource to get a hold of, so having your worker set up there is the optimal thing for you. Now, I've done a bit of research and it turns out that the total amount of contribution points needed to set up all of this stuff here is 57. For the buildings alone in Altinova, the required amount of contribution point is 33. And for all of the connected nodes, the amount of contribution points are 24. Put all that together, the total contribution point cost for buildings in Altinova and the nodes are 57. Now let's just pretend that your workers have been out gathering, you've got all the resources that you need, now it's time to process. So for example, for the wagon, what you would need would be wagon horses, which you buy from the stable keeper. You need acacia plywood, which your worker has already gathered. Brass ingot, you got that from the zinc and the copper. Soft hide, you buy that from the marketplace, and the blackstone powder. Blackstone powder, if you don't have that, is super easy. Just buy a few 5k crystals on the marketplace and grind them yourself and you're good to go. Now, let's start off with the acacia timber. Your worker has gathered it, you press L, you press the chop menu, and you start chopping all the acacia timber. What you'll get from that is you'll get acacia planks. Now, out of the planks, what you want to make out of those is you want to make the acacia plywood. So you just press L, press the chopping menu, and you press the acacia planks, and voila, you'll turn them into acacia plywood. And it is that simple, guys. It does not take more than that. It's fantastic. Moving on, we now have the ores that you're going to be melting. So you start off with the copper ore, which your workers has also gathered. Sorry about that, guys. You melt the copper ores, you turn them into melted copper shards. Once you've done that, once you've melted all the copper ores that you have, you're then gonna be doing the same thing but with your zinc ores. So you take your zinc ores, you press L, you press heat or melt, I think. No, is it heating? I can't remember, guys, but you know what I mean. You melt your zinc ores, you turn them into melted zinc shards, and once that's done, you press L once again, and this time you just combine the copper ore or the copper shards and the zinc shards and melt those together, and what you will get is a brass ingot. Now guys, as I was talking about earlier in the video when we were looking at one of the first nodes called the abandoned iron mine, I was talking about something called black crystals. And as I promised, we will get back to that later in the video, which is now. And basically what the black crystals are, your workers mine them as rough black crystals, and if you process them yourself, you can turn them into black crystals, which you can then choose to, if you want to spend an additional 5 contribution points, you can then invest in the armor workshop, level it up to level 5, and go and make Grinnell helmets. Now, Grinnell helmets sell for roughly 250k, and they are guaranteed to sell even on max price, given the fact that people keep fail stacking on them. So if you feel like you want to invest in that, that is a really smart one. As I said, it costs 5 contribution points, so if you have 5 contribution points available outside the 57 that we already spent on this, then you should definitely go do it. I just want to say thank you so much for watching, but before I wrap this up, I'm gonna show you guys the final result of the video, of my day's income as an AFK'er. Keep in mind, I did not wear a value pack, which really sucked. That just took away an additional 30% of the marketplace for me, so I lost a lot of money on this, but I think I pulled about 2.5 million-ish. I would have easily gotten at least 4 or 5 million if I had been a bit more consistent. I've spent the most of the day here trying to make this video, so yeah. And speaking of video, guys, if you like the video, please make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to my channel for future content of Black Desert, especially guides. This was my very first guide. I was super nervous making this video, and I want to say a huge thanks to TheLazyPeon for helping me make this possible. He told me kind of what to do and inspired me to do this, so huge shout out to TheLazyPeon. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll be seeing you guys in the next one.